Okay. So the first thing, like I told you, just on LinkedIn, just follow us. So if you log into your Canvas dashboard, can you all see my screen? I need one person to confirm. I mean, you won't have all these.
Yes, yes, we can see it.
Yes, sir, we can see it.
Oh, good. So this is what you're going to have. So like today now, we're using this notebook. I will tell you what a notebook is, how to upload this. If you are not familiar with Anaconda, some of you are professionals, you're already familiar with some of these things, but I will not assume that. I will assume that you are not because of others. So, the first thing you need to do is, if you want to follow along with me, these are notes. So these notes, you will see them when I upload them. They are not complete. We're going to be writing the code live because we do hands-on in iLitech. We believe that's the way to teach this, field, not PowerPoint presentation alone. At some point, we're going to do PowerPoint when we get into machine learning. So and all of that. So just click on it and you can see download. Once you click on this, it will download to your download folder, and then you will upload that to Anaconda. I will show you how to do that in Anaconda. Any question on that? If I'm too fast, please feel free to slow me down. Do you understand how to download a notebook now? Any notebook end with .ipynb. I'll tell you what that means when we get to Anaconda. Do you understand? Do you all understand how to download a notebook now from Canvas? Okay, I will take your silence as yes. I only need one person, at least one or two people to always confirm so that I can move on. Are we all good with that? Hello. Some people are not talking like this. What's happening?
Good with this, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so that's that. Then the next thing, I want to believe we've all installed Anaconda. If you have not installed, can you just talk or mute and talk? Okay, good. So that means everyone has installed. So if you have, just click your start button. Try it as if you want to type Anaconda. You can see it brought out two things: Anaconda Navigator, Anaconda Prompt. So there are two ways you can launch your Anaconda. You can launch it through the navigator, but most times that's very slow. That's the one I show people. But for this badge, okay, let me show you two ways. The first one is Anaconda Navigator. Once you click that, that's going to load, and I will show you an alternative.
Yeah.
Please, you can be muted except you want to say something.
I'm right there, there's an pastor.
Hello, I would like everyone to be except you have something to say concerning the class, please. Okay, so this loading the Anaconda this way, using Anaconda prompt could be slow, but while that is loading, let me show you an alternative. So try as if you are typing Anna, and then you click on Anaconda prompt instead of Anaconda Navigator. Okay, so the Anaconda Navigator has already loaded. So this is what you're going to have if you click on Anaconda Navigator. What we want to use here is the Jupyter Notebook. So you just click launch. Once you click launch, it's going to load and open a Jupyter Notebook for you. The other method, do we all get that? I need one person to confirm. Do you get that?
Yes, sir.
Great.
No.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, so the first thing I said you should do, click your start button and type Anna. You are going to see Anaconda Navigator and an Anaconda prompt. I said click on Anaconda Navigator. So once you click that, it's going to load and open this page you have now. All right, and once you have this, click, we only want to use the Jupyter notebook. Click on launch, that's all. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the second method is to do the same thing, but instead of Anaconda Navigator, click on Anaconda Prompt. So that's like your terminal. You can see, do you see what I have here? So this is what you're going to have. And then you can type. So Shewa and Dimeji, please check, follow through people through the chat. I won't be switching, I won't be checking the chat. So just follow through people, except the question you don't know. You can leave that. So Dimeji and Sheon, please answer people through chat if they're asking any question. Okay, so just type Jupyter, Jupyter space notebook. You see what I have? So once you type that, Jupyter's, look at the spelling very well, Jupy, not Pi, Pytr space and notebook, then press enter. Once you do that, this one is very fast. This one is going to load directly. This is where you're going to have, if you have clicked the launch, but going through command prompt is very fast. You will not have all of these. This is because I've been using Anaconda for a long time, but this is what you're going to have. Is this other one, is this one very clear to everyone?
Yes, it is.
Yes, yes.
All right, great. So now this is, so I will show you now how to upload your notebook. So if you want to upload your notebook, remember I said you will download it from Canvas dashboard, and I showed you how to do that. So to upload the notebook you've downloaded, just click upload. Once you click upload, you can see this, I've downloaded it. So if I click on it, let me say, let's assume I want to click on this day one, but you are downloading Python strings. So if I click on this guy and click open, you can see I have it, then you click upload and you have it there. So to open it, just click on it and then you have the notebook. So this is the notebook we'll be using. Any question on this? Is this one, is it clear on how to upload your notebook to Canvas? So I mean, your notebook to Anaconda Jupyter notebook. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. It is.
All right, thank you so much. Any questions so far? Are we good? Can I continue? Okay, all right, good. So I'm going to start teaching, and like you see, I'm going to start from the very basics. I will assume that you don't have any Python experience, even though some of you may have, but I will assume because of the to carry everybody so that you can all be at the same page, I will go from the very, very, very basics, and I'll try to be as slow as possible, not to be fast. If it's too simple for you, just be patient, okay? Because we are still going to get to the meat part of it as we move on. Not today, obviously, but if you don't understand the basics, you may struggle later, and that's what we've seen. In the last one, only the major, I think were just 3 that finished it because others they couldn't, even those that were doing as if they know Python and all of this, because it's not about Python. What we want to teach is data science. We're only teaching the data science with Python. So this is not it's not really a programming class. It's just that you are using a programming language to teach the concept. So don't be mistaken that, oh, I know Python, so I know data science. That's not true. They are completely different. I can teach you this same thing with R for those of you in statistics. And most of what I'll teach in Python base, I can teach you with C++. So It's not about the programming language. It's the concept. It's just that I'm only teaching Python basics because we have chosen Python to teach the concept we want to teach in data science. So there is a need for you to know the basics so that you will be able to do more complex things later as you start working with data. We're still going to start working with data, creating visualizations, building models, machine learning, and you are going to do a project. So, so don't be deceived by the Python and all of that. So as you go on, for those of you who are just beginning this, as you go on, you will grow to a point that you'll be able to use other languages and all of that. But what is needed is proficiency in one. And if you are not at this point, it's not a crime. There is always a starting point, and that's why we're starting today. All right. So for any language, any programming language, you all start with variables. You all start with variables. So the question is, what is a variable? We already have it here. So, but at some point, I'll be asking you questions and all of that. I'll be asking you questions. I'll be asking you questions and, let's make it interactive as we move on. But what I have here, a variable is just any name that is used to, store value in your computer memory. So it's just an address storing something. And so that's the essence, because without variable, everything you do, every code you write is gone. But with variables, just like an address to store some value in the computer memory. And so variable can be of different types. You can have integers. Some of you I've seen someone who put pure mathematics there. So some of you are mathematicians, so we have integers. Integers are whole number. They could be negative or positive, like -5, -10, 18, 12, 3, 0. These are numbers. So a variable can be of integer type. It can be a float. What's a float? A float is just any number with decimal points. Okay, so unlike some programming language, for instance, for like Chibike, who is in computer science, who might have been using another programming language, I don't know. For instance, for like C++, you will have to type the type before you declare a variable name. But Python is not like that. Just declare the variable name and you are good. Unlike others like JavaScript or C++ or PA, all those things. Python, you just declare the name, the variable name, if you are in it, and assign a value to it, and you are good. But there are procedures in naming. You cannot start a variable name with a number. If you do that, you're going to get an error. For instance, so this brings me to how to open a new cell. So we call this cell. You can say I click plus to open a code cell. For instance, if I can't start with a number with 12 and say, okay, I'm assigning that to ABC. This is going to give me error because you cannot name a variable name with a number. Okay, but I can start with an alphabet and end I'm mixing with numbers. That's going to work. And see. Hello, can you all be muted? I will take questions. Please be muted. Sharon, please be muted. Yeah. All right. Any question about variable name? I prefer you ask because I'm not checking the charts. So if you have a question, you can drop me chat, share one, will answer you. But if you want me to answer, you have to unmute and ask. So if you have a question, you can ask now. But if that is clear, we can move on. So like I said, you cannot start with a variable name with a number, okay? But you can start with an alphabet. You can start with an underscore. However, that I will not advise you to do that because starting with a variable name with an underscore, it means something you don't really want to use. So like I can do underscore and it will work. You know, how am I running this cell? You can click run or you do shift enter. Shift enter on your keyboard. Shift enter and that will run. Or you click this run here. But a shortcut is shift enter. Okay. So so that's that with a variable name. So let's look at a string, a variable. A string is just anything surrounded with code. For instance, if I put S1 and say this is Python. So this Python is a string because I'm surrounding it with a code. Can you be muted, please? I actually like us to be organized and be mature. If you are not, if you keep on muting where you are not supposed to, I can remove you from the class. Except if you want to ask a question, I will tell you, do you have a question? If you have a question, unmute and ask. Otherwise, please be muted to avoid noise. All right, so X1 is Python. And so this is a string. This is how to declare a variable. So I suppose I call this a variable, though this variable name is not informative, but at least you can say I start with an alphabet, I put it with a number, it's not a must. Then to declare it, you have to put equals to, and this is in programming language, this is not really equals to. This is what we call an assignment operator. So what this means is that I'm assigning the value, the string Python, to a variable name called S1 so that I can reuse this variable name S1. So if I run this cell and I call back a S1 in a new cell, it's going to give me back the Python. So that's because you've stored this Python to this variable in the computer memory. Is it clear? Any question on that? Okay, good. So let's say I have another one. I want to declare a floating point. So can someone remind me what I call a floating point number? Anybody? Anybody?
The numbers with decimal places, sir.
Good. Numbers with decimal places. So suppose we have 1,2,4,7,5. So this is a floating point number. Any number with decimal place with decimal points is a floating point number. Other programming language call it something else. Some people call it like other programming language can call it double, but it's the same thing. So that's it. And an integer, those are just whole number. You can save with anything. Let's say I call it int1 and I put 25. So if I run these, you can always access them. So these are simple things. So I believe we are clear with how to declare a variable. If you have any question on declaring a variable of any of these types, string, float, or integer, please ask now. Please, if you have, please feel free to ask me. Otherwise, I will move on. Okay, so another thing is that if I know that multiple variables have the same values, I can decide to declare them in a single line like this. So some of you are mathematicians. Please, what does this line mean? A equals to B equals to C equals to 1. What does it mean? Anybody? Please feel free. You are not, you don't have to be right. Please. Yeah. Yes, anybody? What does it mean? This class is too quiet.
A, B, and C are one. Their values are one.
Good. So this means A is 1, B is 1, and C is 1. So if I run this, so that means if I do A plus B, I should have the answer as 2 because we've said A is 1, B is, so that I'm trying to tell you that you can declare a variable like this in Python since we know that these three have the same values. Otherwise, you cannot initialize them this way. If I put 2, that means the 3 of the variables A, B, and C as the value 2. So as we go on, you begin to use this terminology, variables, okay? So you can also, if they have different numbers, you can initialize them, you can declare them in a single line. So if I put A comma B equals to 5 comma 8, this means since A is the first variable I'm declaring, the first value goes to A and the second value A goes to B. If I put another one, so this means A is 5, B is 8. And if you do 8 times B, times, you can see that is the asterisk on your computer. That's shift 8 on your, for those using Windows laptop. So if I do that, I'm saying 5 times 8, and that should give me 40. So, but what will happen if I do C? Is there anything wrong here? A comma B comma C equals to 5 comma 8. Is there anything wrong?
Yes, sir.
What?
There's no value for C.
God bless you. There's no value for C. So if I run this, it will tell me, Python will be confused that I know I can give 5 to A. I can give 8 to B. Where should I get the value for C? I don't know. And that's why it says not enough values to unpack. Expected 3, got 2. Always one of the skills you will learn in this field is learn to read error. Error doesn't mean you don't know how to code. No, error just means you are missing something. You are not speaking my language well. For instance, Chibike is an Igbo guy. I'm a Yoruba guy. If I'm speaking Igbo, Chibike will be laughing at me, right? Chibike, because I will be sounding the way my sound is going to look like. You know, it's going to sound something, somehow in his ear, and it's going to, I might be saying rubbish, you know. So that is exactly how it is. Python is a language. You want to learn it. So if you get error, take time to read the error. The solution is in the error, right? So don't just, because a lot of people give up once they start getting error. I'm not getting it, but they are not even reading the error. So it's expected 3, but you supply 2. So, but if I do this now, if I put 4, it's going to work well. And so that means C is now 4, and you can do any operation you want to do. I can do A raised to power C. I'm purposely using some of these operators so that you can get used to them. Asterisk is times, multiplication. Double asterisk means raised to power. So A raised to power 4, C is 5 raised to power 4, and that's 625. That's because A is 5, C is 4. So if I do asterisk, that's 5 raised to power 4. So if you have not learned anything today, you've learned how to declare a variable. I said a variable must start with an alphabet. I mean, it can start with an underscore, but it's not advisable. So, and as you go on, you begin to give meaningful name, informative name to variable, not even X1, things like that. But don't start with a number and give informative name. And a variable can store a string. A string is anything inside a quote, a single quote or double quote. A variable can store a decimal number called float, floating point number. A variable can store an integer, that's a number without a whole number, negative or positive and 0. And then we talk about declaring variables, that you can declare multiple variables in a single line, just separating them with comma or things like that. And then you can multiply them using an asterisk. You can exponent A raised to power C using double asterisk. Any questions so far on the recap? Are we clear? Am I too fast? Please let me know. Are you good? Are we all good? Can I continue?
Yes, sir, you can.
All right. So let's move to data types. We have, we've looked at some of them, but there are also other types like Boolean. We have A Boolean is like is binary, true or false, things like that. Like, oh, is Taiwo in this class? True. Is Balogun Kenny in this class? False, right? Taiwo, your Kenny is not here, but okay, I'm here. So, but the real Balogun Kenny is not here, or is also, whatever is Boolean is can store two numbers, true or false. That's just what it is. So, for instance, if you put, let's say we have variable A to say, okay, true. Um, True, so you do this. You can see it turns green because true, and this is Boolean. So if you now say, look at type of A, you can see. So to check the data type, use type. Type of A, it gives us bool. So that shows is a Boolean. Okay? And even if you do false, it's still Boolean. Right? So that is it. Remember, I told you how to run your script. You can use run here, or you do shift enter. That will run this code cell. All right. We're still going to look at these data structures. Today, we're going to focus on string. But before that, I'm trying to familiarize you with some of the things you'll be using. Okay. So another thing, do you have a question before I move on? Any question? Are we good? Just need one person. Are you good?
You're good, sir.
All right, thank you. So another thing is, now suppose we have two numbers, we have x, we have two variables, x and y equals to 5 and 13. So x stores value 5, y stores value 13. Now suppose I want to add a number to x and save it back. Like I can do x equals to, let's say, x plus 6. Who can tell me what's the value of x now without running it? What's the value of x? If I do x equals to x plus 6, does it program me? You need
11,
what?
sir.
11. Good. So instead of doing x equals to x plus 6, a shortcut of it, put your plus equals to and 6. This is the same thing. So if I do that and I call my x back, if you want to see the result in Jupyter, you have to call back the variable. You can see you're going to get 11. So I'm trying to tell you that plus equals to is a shortcut for x equals to x plus 6. I've just introduced another thing here, hash or a pound sign. That's comment in Python. There are a lot of things I will be chipping in, and I'm going to take my time to explain them. So, and I'm doing that intentionally to introduce some of these things stylishly. So this is comments. So once you, comments is not all programming language have their own comments. So in Python, you declare a comment with this pound sign, this hash, and everything that comes after it is seen as a comment, and it will not be processed. So comment is just to make your code readable. Okay, it's for readability, and so that you can understand what is going on there. Okay, so it's good to get into the habit of documenting your code. When you hear document your code, it means put comments in your code, like so that, because you are not writing code for yourself alone, very soon you'll be collaborating with others on projects. So you are writing code for others to check, and also so that many months after, when you come back to the code, you can understand what the code is doing. Okay, so that's comment in Python. So back to what I was saying, that this plus equals is the same thing as putting x equals to 0. So this means x plus 6 and assign it back to x. That's what it means. And you can do that with all the other operators. Like if I want to do y equals to y times 5, this is going to do 13 times 5 and assign it back to y. We can do the same thing, like asterisk equals to 5. Same thing. How do we do division? How do we divide by? How do we use division and assign it back? Anybody? You can call it, use X, and I will type for you. Anybody?
Use front slash, sir.
What?
Front slash.
Yeah, tell me how I'm going to do it. I want to do X divided by 2 and assign it back to X. What am I going to type?
X// equals to.
Is that the Meiji?
Yeah, no, sir.
Oh, okay, sorry. I don't want the Meiji to talk, so that's why. Okay, so X// equals to 2. So is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
That's correct. So that's it. So, and then if you do that, let me comment these guys out so that it won't run this. So this will be X divided by 2, which is 2.5. Then assign it back to X. And that's it. Okay. So that's that about that. And you can do that with any of these operators. You can do that with incrementing, decrementing, multiplication, division, and even exponents, you know. And you can see it's all in the notes, what the equivalent of what you are writing. You can go through that. Another one before we start focusing on string, where we're going to stop today, is a logical operator, the and, or, and. You can see most of these things are what you might have done in the university or you are currently doing. And but this is going to be practical here. So, and is true. And it just means when you have two conditions, the two conditions have to be true for it to be, for that thing to be true, you know, like, oh, the and like A and B. So X equals to 2, Y equals to 3 in this example. This will only be true, the condition, for instance, if I do X is greater than, X is greater than 1 and Y is greater than 5. Is this condition going to be true? Anybody? Is it going to be true?
No, sir.
False.
Why? Why is it not true?
Because Y is not greater
Because
than 5.
Great. Y is less than 5. So this is going to give me false. So this expression, so the result this is going to give me, I said false. What data type is that? Anybody?
That should be a Boolean.
Boolean. Thank you. Remember, Shehu and Dimeji, please don't talk. Just, yeah, Boolean. Thank you very much. So anything that will give you true or false is Boolean. So that shows you guys are following. So X is true because 2 is greater than 1. But Y is 3 and Y is less than 5. So this should be false. All right. But if we do less than 5, so both conditions are true. X is greater than 1, Y is less than 5. So this will be true. And that's the AND operation. What of OR? What if I do OR and make this greater than? What do you think? Anybody? Is it going to be true or false?
It's going to be true, sir.
Why? Why is it going to
So
be true?
I think because at least one of the condition is correct. It's true.
Thank you. So OR is going to be true if at least one of the condition is true. So this X is greater than 1 is true because X is 2, but Y is greater than 5 is false because 3 is less than 5. However, since this part is true, it's only looking for one condition. Once it checks this, it's not even going to bother to check the second one. As soon as it checks this, it's going to return true. It's not checking the other. But and we check both. So if I do this now, this is true. But if I now do less than, once it checks this, it knows that 2x is 2 and 2 is not less than 1. That's when it will check the second condition. So once it now check the second condition and the second condition is also not true, then that's when you are now going to receive false as the answer. So I'm showing you how it's running. If you have an idea of how the code is running, it will help you to write correct code. But so don't memorize anything. And I will never teach you to memorize. That's how we were taught in Nigeria, except some of us that are self-taught. Don't memorize, please. Because if you do, you will forget many things, and you will not, I mean, you can easily be frustrated, like, and come to a wrong conclusion that you can't know it. No, that's not true. Don't memorize, just follow along and ask questions. Okay, any question on the logical operator? Okay, the not operator is using your exclamation mark. So if I do S is not equals to 2. So you can see, so not equals. So this exclamation mark equals to, so I'm saying S is not equals to 2. This should be false because S is equals to 2. So now it's only, when I run this, Jupyter Notebook is only running the last thing in your cell. It's not running it runs this, but it's only showing the result of the last thing. So, or you can comment it out. Okay, so it's going to be false because S is equals to 2. But if I put S is equals to, you can see equality is double equal sign. A single equal sign is not an equality sign. It means an assignment operator. It means we are assigning 2 to the variable X. We are assigning 3 to the variable Y. But if I want to say S is equals to 2, I will put double equal sign. So this means S is equals to 2. That will give me true. I don't know if I did a good job explaining this operator. Do you understand? Is it clear?
Yes, sir, you understand.
Thank you. All right. So one last thing, some of these things, don't worry that move to correct. Don't worry. You start seeing all the pieces together as we move on. But it's just that as we get to those points, I may not come back to these things. So that's why you need to follow along with me. If you need to put some note down, please put it down. Yeah. Okay. In operator, you will appreciate this in when we start for loop, like control structure, and we want to begin to loop through a specific number. That's when it starts getting interesting. But let me introduce you to it. The in operator is just to check something in a particular data structure. For instance, forget about what this means. I just opened a list. We are still going to talk about lists, but not today. Suppose we have a list of fruit like apple, banana, carrots, and I said, okay, apple, this string apple in, or let me even use simple if else. So if apple in fruit, English wise, that means if apple is in a list called fruit. Print. Yes, don't worry about the code. We're going to, you in just few, by next week, you should know what this means and all of that. S, print, no. Before I run it, what's the name we call fruit? Anybody? This is just to
Apple,
check.
banana, and carrot.
What's it called?
List.
Well, list. Yeah, just it's just a variable, okay? A variable called list. Yeah, but don't worry about the list. I will talk about list. So I just want to is a variable, okay? And it stores these 3 things. So what this will do, what is going on underneath, when you do if apple in fruit, it's going to come to this list of fruit that is a list fruit that contains this thing, and it's going to start at the beginning. It's going to check. Maybe I should put banana or carrot, like this. So it's going to check the first thing. Carrot is not equal to this. So it's going to move on to the next one. This is not banana. Then as soon as it moves to the third and it sees it, it's going to print yes. It's not even going to come to this S block. It's when it cannot find it, it's now going to jump this and move here. So if it finds it, it's only going to print yes and it will stop. It's only when it cannot find it that it's going to jump the if block and come to S. So we should expect yes here because it can find it. But if we put something here like, okay, let's say we mistakenly put apples, but we have apple. It should be no, because this is apple. You can see that unlike what we usually think that computer itself is dull. It's human being that is behind it. That's why don't join those who normally say AI will replace human being. That's if you say that while I'm there, I will know that you are not knowledgeable enough in this field. That's why you are saying that. Okay, so because the program, and by the time you start machine learning, you begin to understand how this thing is working at the back, that they are not what you think. You are the one telling it what to do. You are the one programming it. When you go to your ATM machine, we're going to do a simple something when we get to follow that. We will try to simulate the experience of you going to your ATM machine. You will code it where it will ask you what to do, supply your password, blah, blah, and all of those things. You will see that you are the one programming it. It's someone programming what it should do. You can see we put apples. If computer is knowledgeable enough, you should know that we are talking about this apple. But it's garbage in, garbage out. No S. It can't find it. And it doesn't think that, it doesn't know that you are still referring to the same apple. So it's going to tell you no. So just know that it's whatever you put in there that you're going to get. It's only running an instruction that you give. What is the instruction we gave? That if you can find these apples in fruit, display yes. If you can't find it, display no. And it's just following that instruction. That's all. Is it clear to everyone? Can we move on? Or any question? So in, even not in, we can do that. I can do if apples not in fruit, print yes. S, print no. Watch. It prints yes, because apples is not in fruit. That's why it's printing yes. If apple is there, if I had apples now, it's going to print no for me, because I said if apples is not in fruit, print yes. But if apple is there, S, that's what that means. Print no. That's the instruction now. It's going to print no. Is it clear? Or am I too fast? Am I? Hello?
We're following, sir.
Any?
You are following.
Okay, so I think, let me just put this list by the side so that I can be seeing people. So, but is it clear? Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir. It
Okay,
is.
great, thank you. So let's move to strings. Strings. For those of you who already have experience with strings, I've said it a little bit. What's the string? I've said it before today. What's the string? Anybody?
A variable inside like a parenthesis or something like that.
A string is a variable.
String is a character.
Okay, can you talk one by one? Adam saying, what did you say?
I say a string is like a character.
What do you mean by character?
Character in the sense that, like, words. Maybe something like maybe if I say cool is a string.
Hello. Okay. Yeah, thanks,
Okay.
Adam. Is it Adam? Can I call you Adam? Or I must call Adam.
Yeah, you can call me Adam. You can call me Adam.
Okay, Taiwo, you are raising your hands. Yeah.
Okay.
What's up?
So I said a string is a character inside the parenthesis.
Yes, inside a parenthesis. A parenthesis means bracket. I hope you know.
Sorry, semicolon. I meant
Okay.
like those double columns up.
Okay. I know, I understand what you are saying, but
Okay,
most time I will always pretend as if I don't because I want to be sure you are saying what I have in mind. Rafi, you want to say something?
yes, I want to say something, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is it a semicolon? I really can't remember the name.
Yeah, don't worry, who say you remember. Rafi, yeah.
Strings. Strings are they are characters. They are texts. Any type of text in quotes is a string.
That's right. Okay. Yakub,
Okay,
you
sir.
agree with Rafi?
Yes, partly, sir. My own definition is that a string is a variable whose value is a word or a statement enclosed in quotation marks.
Okay, you are both correct. Yeah, you're both correct. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so a string is, my own is very simple, is anything inside a quote. Whether it's a number, it may not be a word. Okay, for instance, let me put this string. S1 equals to 10. What's the type of S1? Is it a string or a number?
A string.
It's a
It's a
string.
string.
If we do type of S1, string, STR, as far as it's in a quote, whether it's a number, anything, even if I put true this inside a quote, it's no longer Boolean. It's a string. You can see the color change. It's not even green again. So that's anything inside quote. That's my own simple definition. Anything inside a quote, single quote or double quote, is a string. If you disagree, you can let me know, but that's it. But I've showed you by checking the type. Okay, so that's that about a string. So we're moving basically into a string, and I'll spend some few minutes. So for today, the time you're going to spend in the breakout room is going to be short, and I said you are ready to go a few minutes after more than 2 hours. But because I'm just introducing the topic and all of that, so yeah. All right, so we have a string S called machine learning is useful in every career. That's the string. So we can run it using Shift Enter or you click run here. Okay, now how do I suppose I want to know what's the length of this whole string? How do I do that? Anybody? How do I get the length? I don't expect it to be correct, but I just try. Anybody? Yeah.
So I think the function is you can put len length len and put your s inside a bracket or something.
Right? Is that what you mean?
Let's run it first and see. Let's run it first and see.
We should experiment in Nigeria.
But I know the function for it.
Yeah, right.
I know the function for it is len, like learn.
Yeah, right. You know, you're my twin brother. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Ayomide, you're raising your hand.
Yes.
Ayomide.
I think it's the same thing. We'll click on we'll press print, then in the bracket length, then the name of the string itself. So it will be print length S.
Okay. So now, if you're using Python interpreter, you can put print. In Jupyter Notebook, you don't have to. If you're using other ID like Visual Studio Code, PyCharm, you can do that. But in Jupyter Notebook, you don't have to. You can see if I do this, I don't put print, still work. So that's why people use Jupyter Notebook, because it's interactive. You put your code input, it's going to show you output. So you don't, if I put it, it's still going to work. This is what Amide is saying. Like I wrap it around print. It's still the same thing. So this will be useful if I have something, let's say I want to check, I don't want to go too far. Let's say I just want to check the type. So the type of S. So if I don't wrap this one around print, is only going to, Jupyter Notebook will only display the result for this last one. But let's say I want the 2 results, then it's better to wrap the previous one in print so that you can print that too. Otherwise, it will only show the last thing there. So I don't know, you can see now that it shows the 2, the first one is this and the time. But if you don't wrap it around print, you will only see the last one string. So I don't know, Ayomide, do you get that? Is it clear?
Yes, I understand. I understand.
All right, okay, good. So that's good. To get the length of a string, just use the len function. Not my word, len function is a function. So it's a built-in function to find the length of a string. Okay, let's move on. What if I want to get the first element? I have this string, and I want to get the first element M from this string. How do I do that? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, BC, let me hear from.
I didn't get the question, please. I didn't get the question, please.
Okay, BC, are you there? I will be calling people now. Yeah, I think I need to call. There are some people that.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so I said, how do you get the first element from this string? The first element is M. How do I get it?
Each
I
of
don't
the,
know.
Okay, good. I like that. Awele? Or
So I think you can do.
Is that your first name? Please let me know.
That is it.
Okay, good. So how do you get the first element?
You use the variable name and square bracket. The first element is the index 0.
Wow, Awele is a programmer. Wow. Why are you here? You're a programmer already. That's good. That's correct. So she has just said something about indexing. So to index in Python, you always use a square bracket. Whether we are dealing with string, tuple, as we go on, you will always use a square bracket. Now, why did she say 0? Indexing in Python starts with 0. So Python is 0 index. It's a 0 index language. Programming language like R is not 0 index, it's 1. But most others ones, they are also 0 index. C++, JavaScript, PHP, they are 0 index. So putting x equals x square bracket 0 means give me the first element in that. So if you run this now, shift enter, it gives me the first one. What if, so this is easy. That means the second one is what? Second element.
1.
1, that's right. Okay, good. So what if I want to get the last element? Will I have to count? Will I have to count 0, 1, 2, 3? That would be painful.
-1. You can do -1.
I have gurus in this class. People you make my work easier. That's a good one. So -1. So you can, so one, okay, let me ask. Why did you say -1? Taiwo, you are the one that told me.
You are counting from the back, like yes, yes, I was. You are counting from the back, so you are counting. You are not counting progressive. You are counting. I don't know how to explain it, but you are counting anti-clockwise, something like that.
You're right. So you can index from the front and also from the back. If you're indexing from the front, you will start from 0. If you're indexing from the back, you will start from -1. So if I want the last element here, R, that's -1. If I want the second to the last, that should be minus what?
It should be a minus.
What?
-2. Minus.
Yeah, so -1 here will give me the last element, R. And if I put -2, that's second to the last, that is E. And that is this guy here. So that's indexing, okay? And then you can index in any position. If you want the 10th, you put 9 there because it starts from 0. you know, things like that. So, but how do we reverse it? How do we reverse? Suppose I want to start from R to the beginning. How do we index? BC, you're raising your hands. Yeah.
I want to ask a question.
Yeah, your question.
I want to ask a question. Yes, can we index two alphabets at the same time? Two strings at the same time?
So it's no longer indexing, it's called slicing, and we'll get there in a minute.
Okay.
So let me pen this question on reverse to slide. So once we start slicing now, then we can move to that this question back. We'll come back to how to reverse. So this was what I just explained, that you can index from the front and also from the back. If you're indexing from the front, suppose we have a string called the Avengers. Indexing from the front, you start from zeros, and indexing from the back, you start from -1, you can see. So that's how to index. Bisa, are you still raising your hands?
No.
Okay, so maybe you should remove the raising hands. Yeah, thank you. So we have another string called the Avengers. So this one to move on to slicing. When we say slicing, that will take me to the question BC asked, that how do you get multiple elements? You index them at the same time. So we call it slicing. So you want to slice a string. You want to get multiple elements. So suppose I want to get the first three. That's why I put it there. Suppose I want to get the first three characters in Avengers. I guess Awele will know this. Awele, what do we do, Gary? Since you are the programmer here.
Yeah, I'm not just doing that. STR1 square bracket 0 column 0122 column 3.
I say you are the programmer. So why not? So I said I need the first three. So why not? And you said start from 0. Why not stop at 2? I need the first THE. Why 3?
Because it will grab before the second number. Not before that first number. It will include the last number.
Yes.
The last
So yeah, you are right. Thank you. So what she's saying is, if you are slicing, is if you specify that. So now let's break this down. So when you are slicing, when you want to slice, the first thing after the variable name, you open a square bracket. The first thing there is the starting position, followed by a colon, and the next thing is the ending position. Okay, the first thing there is the starting position, followed by a colon, and then what comes after the colon is the ending position. This is the starting position, this is the ending position. Now, the colon is just like when you are doing 0 to 3. So it's standing for the word 2, T-O, 2, you know, like 0 to this. I know 0 means from the first thing. Now, the question is, why not to 3? 0, 1, 2, 3. That should be 4. But slicing in Python will not, like, let me use the same word I will not grab the ending position. It will stop just before the ending position. So if you do 3, it's going to stop at 2. If I put 4 there, it's going to stop at 3. If I put 5, it's going to stop at 4. I don't know if I did a good job by explaining this. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So 0 to 3 means the first 3. So that means 0, 1, 2. So T is 0, H is 1, E is 2. So if we run that, oh, maybe I've not run this guy before. So let's see. Yeah, you can see. So it just give me THE, that's the first. So the first 6. So, but you can also choose not to specify 0. That means if I don't put anything at the starting point, it implies start from 0. Okay, so it's the same thing. All right, so but for simplicity, you can put 0. So if that is true, what will this mean if I put 2 and I do not include the ending position? Anybody? Maybe let me look through my list. Who hasn't talked before?
I think everything after.
Sorry, Emmanuel.
Sure. I think
Uncle Emmanuel, are you there? Emmanuel is not there.
Okay, I think everything after the second character to print everything out.
Answering what I didn't call you. Wait, let's give other people some things.
I'm
Chibike, I know
sorry,
this
please. I'm sorry.
is for you. Chibike, what do you think? What does that mean? Chibike is not talking. Okay. Fumbi, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what do you think this means? STR1 square bracket 2 colon.
So it means that to pick everything from the second character down, like
So
to the ending, the
from
last
H,
one.
do you mean from H to the end? Is that what you mean?
It means it will pick from E.
From E, that's right.
Yeah.
Because 2 is third, so 0, 1, 2. So that's the third element. So that means we're saying pick everything from E to the very end. I think that was what I was trying to say. So that's it. So it picks from E. So that's how slicing works. So, and you can play around all these questions. What if I want to get the element between position 6 and 8? How do we do that? Anybody now? BC? Yeah. Anybody, please, you are free to answer this. How do you get the one between position 6 and 8?
So you choose from 6 ratio to 9.
That's
from
correct.
6 to 9.
So 6 colon 9. Is this what you mean?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, that's correct.
No.
Okay. So now what if I want to go from beginning to the end, but in step of 2? Like after printing T, I want to print E, I want to print A, I want to print E, like that, in step of 2. Anybody? Sammy, is it Anthony, Pio Anthony? Anybody? Any of you? I've not heard your voice before. Yes. Ladies are really trying. Fumbi and Awele, they're really. So I need some guys who have some. Yes.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. I have a question.
Okay, BC, your question.
Yes, I'm going through the Avengers. I'm saying that there are 11 alphabets here. I'm seeing 12.
Because it's Python will count the space.
Okay.
Space are counted. Yeah. So when we got the length, so if you do length now, you see length of STR1, 12, because it's going to count the space. So the space is also associated, okay? So it's not just the characters, okay?
Okay, sir.
You can see, that's why I put a picture there. You can see that's position 3. If I put XTR1 and put 3 there, which is supposed to be the space, it's not going to see what is print. You can see an empty space, but it's also a string, but it's an empty space, but it's counted. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So back to my question. Nobody is answering. Yes? Move from first to the last, but in step of 2. Who want to try now? Dimeji, wait. If nobody talks, then the magic can talk. Nobody is saying anything. Awele, help us out now.
Okay, so we have
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Joseph.
okay, so we have 3 elements inside our square bracket now.
Okay,
The
so
first
what
will
is
be
it
the
going to be?
starting element, the second the ending element.
I can't
and the
hear that.
third
Sorry,
one
I didn't hear what you said.
will be to start with.
Your network is seriously breaking.
3 elements in our.
Yeah, I heard that.
Sorry.
3 elements. What do I put down?
Okay, that's like 2 colon 12
What?
colon 2 then.
Sorry, say that again.
Something like 0 colon maybe 12 or 13 colon 2 inside the square bracket. I'll be str1 colon 0 12 colon 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
but with that, yeah, I think.
Yeah, that's correct. However, that means you have to count, you needed to count the total string you have. Wasn't that what you did? Right?
What, sir?
How do you get the 12? You needed to find the length of the whole string before you knew you are going to put 12. What if it's a very long test? You will still have to find the length. So you are correct, but what's the alternative to using?
We can omit that.
What? What's the alternative? Suppose I don't want to use.
Okay, can we omit that?
Can we do what?
Can we just omit that? Then we should
What will I put?
We should still have it.
I should just do like this, right?
Yes, yes. I think it should work.
That's correct.
Yes, I think it should work. Yes.
Yeah, that's correct. So you do not have to put the length, the total length there. No. So this means start from the beginning, go to the end. That's what this colon and this space is doing. Remember when we did 0 colon, it means everything from the beginning to the end. But if I now want to go in step, I will add another colon and put 2. So if I want to go in step of 2, I will go from the beginning, but in step of 2 to the end. So this moved me back to the question I asked. How do we reverse this string? Since you now know slicing, how do we reverse it to go from the back to the beginning? Yes, anybody? BC, are you asking a question? If you are not, remove the, yeah. I really want to say something.
Hello, sir.
Okay, Rafi, go ahead.
We can write, I'm not sure, I'm just trying.
Yeah,
We can
go
write
ahead.
str1, square brackets, -1, then.
Square bracket? How do I put square bracket? Oh, okay, yeah.
-1, then colon.
Now, so if I do this will go from the beginning. You can say, do you understand what you just did? I mean, I get your logic that if we can go from beginning to the end, and we know the last number to be -1. If I do -1, 2, it should give me from the end to the beginning, right?
Yes, sir.
But what he's doing is he's going from last to last. Like I'm going from S down to this place. So what this code is going to do is going to be going from S to this, but he can't find anything after S. That's why he just stopped at S.
Okay, can I?
How about to write colon and -1, sir? Colon, then -1 at the back, nothing in front.
Okay. Colon and -1. Okay. So this will just remove the last one. That means remove the last thing for me.
Can I try, please?
Yes, please go ahead.
Can I?
Okay, so let's do -1
Mm-hmm. Say it. Let's see. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, -1 to.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you. Mm-hmm.
Okay, -1 to 0.
To what?
0, 0.
It's not going to work. Mm-hmm.
Okay, sir, can I try?
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
I think. Okay.
What if we
Yeah.
put two colons, then -1? That should work.
God bless you. So this is what this is saying is this. See, before the colon, before the -1, if I put a single colon, I'm saying go from the beginning to the end. That's what this is doing. See, it's going to print out everything for me as it is. Now, if I put, so in step, remember what I told you, if you want to go in step from front to the end, I just need to add another colon. Once the step 2, this will go from beginning to the end step of 2. So these are together. This is what we call the step. If I want to go in step of 3, the first column means from beginning to the end, no step. Step of 3 means colon 3. This is it. Now, if I want to move from the back, remember the first column is just beginning to the end. But if I now say I want to move from the back in step of 1, I'll just put colon -1. That's all. If I want to move from the back to the beginning, but in step of 2, how would this have been? This should be easy now. People are quiet now. Is it getting tough or what? Hello, Fumbi, are you there? Help us out, please.
You have the double colon and you put -2.
Yeah, that's it. So just know that the first column means beginning to the end. If I want to reverse it in step of 2, I'll just add colon because it's from the back. I'll put -2. But if I want to be, it's from the back, but step of 1, just put -1. That's all. So that's how to slice both from the front and both from the back. So let me see how far we can go. Okay. So let me see if the exercise, you need all those other ones. Okay, so I don't think you need even the method. So maybe I will stop here so that you can do this small exercise. But you may not be able to do this if you are not familiar with this. Okay, let's quickly do touch the method. And watch me, I use the word method, not functions. So a function and a method, they are doing the same thing, but they are called different names because of the way they are used. Remember when we want to use the len, I said len function to find the length of a string. Why is it called length? Why is it called function? A function, you write the name of the function, a parenthesis, and the name of the data structure like str1. So this will be a function, okay? Because I have to write the name of the function, open a parenthesis, and then I put in the name of the string. But for a method, it's actually similar, but it's just that a method will come after the dot. After, like you first call like we have a string here called str2 named the mind is the center of excellence. So if I do str2 and I want to know the method that I can use on this string, suppose I want to count how many times the article the occurs here. I will have to, and there are methods that can do this thing, but I don't know them and I don't expect you to memorize it. What do? Write the name of the string, put a dot and press tab. Let me do that again. You want to know the method that you can use for strings. Write the name of the string, Remember, I'm calling it method. Why am I calling it method? Because they come after the dot. That's why they are method. Function, you will first write it. You have to know it. And then write it, put the variable inside the parentheses. That's a function. But a method, you will call the variable, put a dot, and the method comes after the dot. But you don't need to memorize this method. Just type the variable dot and press tab. Is it clear? You can see all the method I can use on this string. So let's see if there's anything called count. You can say I have count. So if I want to count something, I can just click on count here. It's a method. It must also end with a parenthesis. So why is it a method? Because it's coming after the dot. So what do I want to count? I want to count the string THE. I want to count how many times it occurs. We know it occurs 2 times. So if I have a long text and I want to count how many times a particular string occurs, I can easily do that. I can do this, and that will give me 2. How is this thing useful? Suppose you are a data scientist, though this is much more complex than this, and you are working in an organization and your company just quickly produced a product, blah, 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 and people have been buying it, they're giving their reviews in terms of text, loading them back. Instead of you as a data scientist to be reading each feedback, to know how many people use the word good there, you can simply pack all the text and put them in a quote to make them string, and then count, just pass the word dot count and put the word good there. That will count how many times people use good or bad. That will count many times. And that can give you an insight as what people are saying. Maybe though there are better ways to do that, it's just that this scholarship cloud will not get to that point called word cloud, but you can visualize it. It's just a visualization that will show you everything, the raw text. But that's for another time. You can check YouTube page on NLP Basics. It's free. Like short class I put there on it, but let's leave that aside. So that's how to use the method called count. Okay, so you can, remember this method comes after the dot. That's why we call them dot. And if you want to know them in Jupyter Notebook, after the variable name, put dot and press tab on your computer, and that will list all the variables for you. Okay, suppose I want to find the position where the word mind occurs, or the word center where it occurs. I want to know the position in the string the word center occurs. There is a method to do that. Let's press start to see. So we have a method called find. So we can put find there and put center. And that will tell us, it will give us the starting point, like the starting point where the word center occurs, like letter C. So if I run that, it tells me the word center begins at the position 16, at the index 16. And if you count from 0 from here, you will notice that C will be 16. So the question is, what if I want to count the position of THE, and knowing that I have THE multiple times? What do you think if I put THE here will give me? Which one is it counting? This or this? Anybody?
It should count the first one.
Thank you. It will. It's only going to count the first occurrence, T, and that's why you notice it's going to give us 0. Let's run it. Because 0, that's the beginning of this one. What if I'm interested in this? There is a way out. Let's see. Let's see if there is. Let's press tab and see the methods. Fine. Let's scroll down. So we have something called R find here. This means find it from the right. So, and then let's put THE there again. It's running. It's 12. So it's actually giving me the starting point of the second one. But the problem with this is that if we have more than 2, it's only going to give you the rightmost one. So that's the problem. Except you want to write for loop. Like when we get there, you can, when you learn loop, when we learn the topic loop, we can even count manually, write a loop that will go through each word and count how many times that word occurs. It will become interesting as we move on. But these are just the basics. I don't know if this is clear. Is it?
Very clear, sir.
All
Very
right.
clear, sir.
So I think for the assign, okay. Let me go through the. So we can also turn everything to capital letter using the upper, like a method to do that, to turn it everything to uppercase. Let's say we have another string called hello Jarvis. We want to turn everything to uppercase. You might be wondering, why is this thing there? Don't worry, you'll see them. Let's call the variable name and put dot and press tab. There's something called upper. Let's press U to limit the search. You can see upper. So it's a method. You must end with parentheses. So if we do that, it's going to turn everything, that string, to uppercase. Okay? And if there's anything called upper, then there should be what? There should be lower. That's to turn it to lowercase. So let's do name dot lower, and then you do that. It's going to turn this string, Moit, Raji, and turn it to lowercase. Any question on upper and lower? Is it clear? So upper, we turn it to all capital letter. Lower, we turn it to all small letter. Any question? Wakila, do you have a question?
No, sir.
All right. So capitalize. So you can experiment those methods. Okay. You can experiment them. Name, put dot and press tab. You have capitalize. So play around them and say capitalize. We turn only the first letter to capital letter. Like this T now will become capital letter. So you can play around them. So I will leave you to experiment with the rest of them. And some we're still going to be using it later. So you can play around. I've shown you how to get them. Put the name of the variable, put dot and press tab, and it will show you. Any question on the method before I move to this one? I will stop at split, and then you can quickly do the exercise below. Are we good? Any question? All right. So this one is strip. So strip is like, I want to remove something. So for instance, I want to remove, we call this backspace N a new line character. Like if I want to put it in a new line. So anything that comes after this backspace N will be in a new line. Like Dr. Benka, professor. So if we do STR1, so though it's not saying it because it's inside this. But suppose I want to, this is a new line characters, and in a normal text, it's going to see professor in the new line. But suppose I want to remove this new line character. I want to remove it. That's what strip is for. So if you do strip, so strip 2, you can strip from the beginning, you can strip from the end. If you do STR1 and put dot and press tab. Okay, so we have strip there. Let's limit the search. So we have split, we have strip. If I just put strip, let me do, how do I bring out this documentation? I press Shift Tab. Once your cursor is inside the bracket, press Shift Tab. It will bring out this documentation, and you can press plus and all of that. It will save you a lot of stress later. So you can see what it's doing. SCR1 does strip, characters is done. So if I do this may not really do much. You can see it moves it. It removes this new space. So strip means just strip this thing because it knows that this is a special character, is a new line character. It will strip it. Even if you have space like this, if you do that, it will also strip it. It will remove all of this space and all of that. So that's what strip is doing. Okay? And the final thing I'm going to do here is split. Split. So let's say you want to, I want to split this guy. This is the day, the month, and the year. I want to, suppose I want to obtain just the year 2016. 2016. What do I do? If I just put STR1, put the press tab, there's something called split. This is not going to work. How do I get this year for me? Any claim, anybody? This is where we'll stop before you do the exercise. How do I get just the year? Because this split I put here is not working. How do I get it? Who want to try? Awele, Ayomide, Fumbi, Taiwo, BC, Yakub, Caleb, Daniel, Emmanuel, yes, Joseph. Anybody?
Sorry, my network logged me out, so I didn't get the question.
I want to get this year, 2016, from this string. Split is the solution, but I use split, but it's not giving me. So how do I get this? I don't count to use index. No, counting what if is in between the code. So I don't want anybody to count and tell me 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and use slicing. You split is the solution, but how do I get this year 2016 out? Yes. Awele, are you there? I'm not talking. No. Fumbi, Ayomide, BC, Caleb. Yes. Yes, Awele wants to say something. Okay.
You can split the string, assign it to a new variable, split it based on the dash, the hyphen, then use indexing to call 2016.
That's a very good one. You are absolutely correct. Why did you say split it on this delimiter, this dash? Let's put our cursor there and press Shift Tab. You know, remember Shift Tab will give you the documentation. See, this split takes a SEP argument. And by default is using an empty space to split. But because, so if you want to use, if it does not have empty space, you will have to specify what you want as the SEP. The SEP is the delimiter according to which to split the string. None means split according to any white space. So if you want, you can use this dash, this hyphen. And once you do that, like she said, if I do this split, it's going to split them. So why not assign it to a variable, like maybe L1 or date, and then to get the 2016, I know this will be in, this is the third one. So this is 0, 1, 2. So I just need to do L1 and put 2, and that will give me 2016. So what we first did was to split it to give us individual string, and then we got the third one in that list. That's what we did. So for like 20 minutes, you guys are going to do this exercise. So I believe you've already downloaded the notebook. So I'm going to put you in small group of 4 so that you can do at least question 1, question 3, and 4. You can skip 2 if you want, but at least 1, 3, and 4. There are just few simple questions that you can. For this question 1, you use I think we have even done this this one. So, but lay your hands at least on question 1. Question 1 asks these two stuff. So these 2 examples are on question 1, and I want you to do it. Given these 2 strings, create a new string by appending the second one. So I want Japan to be in the middle, like I want America, AME, then I want Japan to be there, and then end it with RICA. I mean, it doesn't have to be after AME, but Japan must be in the middle of America. Jason AY must be in the middle of John D. Peter. Like maybe at this point, Jason AY must be there. And I want you to do that programmatically, not manually putting it in. I don't know if my question is clear. So I'm going to put...
Just to get angry. Just to get angry.